The story describes a memorable journey turned tragic for 5 people traveling over the Kalahari Desert in a Cessna plane. They were marveling at the wild landscapes and remote wilderness, a privilege few get to experience. However, their beautiful journey soon turned into their worst nightmare. In the middle of the Kalahari Desert, where human habitation is virtually impossible, the plane suddenly encountered a problem, and the pilot was forced to make a crash landing. This incident took place in the heart of the Kalahari Desert in Africa. The 5 occupants of the plane miraculously survived the crash, but were now at the mercy of the wilderness and its wildlife, without food, water, or medical supplies. The Kalahari Desert in South Africa, covering an area of 900,000 square kilometers, is considered the 6th largest desert in the world. Unlike the arid Sahara, it supports a diverse range of wildlife, including predators like lions, cheetahs, wild dogs, and African elephants, which are intolerant of intruders in their territory. People from around the world travel to South Africa for desert safaris. The Kalahari, shared by 3 countries, with the largest part in Botswana, is a major attraction. Carl du Plessis, an executive director of a courier company in Gaborone, Botswana, chartered a private plane for a trip to show his friends the stunning views of the Kalahari Desert and to attend a business event. The group included his friends Mike Nikolic and his wife Lynette, Neb Grao-Rac, and the pilot Costa. They boarded the twin-engine Cessna 414 with great excitement. About an hour into the 2-hour flight to Mon, Lynette, already nervous, noticed oil leaking from one of the wings. Initially dismissing it as normal, her concern grew, and she informed her husband and the pilot. The pilot shut down the leaking engine as a precaution, thinking they could still fly with the remaining engine. However, due to the hot, thin air in the African desert, maintaining altitude required both engines. As the plane began to lose altitude, the pilot tried to contact the control tower in Gaborone, but found that the radio had also failed. The only option was to attempt a crash landing. The pilot chose a spot among rocks and bushes, as there were no clear landing areas. He instructed everyone to brace for impact, and the plane crash landed among the shrubbery. Before the crash, the passengers recalled seeing wild animals fleeing as they neared the ground. After regaining consciousness post-crash, they found themselves surrounded by smoke and fire. Lynette had a burnt hand, and Neb appeared to have lung damage as he struggled to breathe. They managed to get Neb out of the plane and propped him up against a tree. Thankfully, the other 3 were not seriously injured. But the situation worsened when the leaking fuel from the plane caught fire, causing a loud explosion. The plane's emergency transponder, which would have signaled their location to the control tower, was not present in this Cessna 414, meaning their location was now unknown in the vast desert. They were stranded in a desolate part of the Kalahari, without water or food, and 2 of them urgently needed hospital care. Expecting a quick rescue, they were dismayed to realize that without their location being known, it could take days for a rescue team to find them. As night fell, they used the plane's fire to create a bonfire to keep wild animals at bay. The second day dawned with no sign of a rescue team. They were severely dehydrated and started drinking dew from leaves, but the rising sun soon dried it up. Hearing a plane overhead, they attempted to signal it with smoke and shouts, but it was too high to notice them. Faced with seemingly imminent death from hunger, thirst, or animal attacks, Executive Director Carl and pilot Costa decided to seek help, leaving their injured friends behind. As the second day ended, Lynette and Neb's condition deteriorated due to the scorching heat and dehydration. Carl and Costa, despite walking all day, found no water source. The third and fourth days passed in despair, with Lynette's wounds worsening. Carl and Costa miraculously avoided being preyed upon in the wild. On the 5th evening, they finally spotted a hut with a girl inside. They quenched their thirst and contacted their control tower via radio. The rescue team, already searching in the Kalahari, was now able to locate them accurately. On the 6th morning, The remaining friends at the crash site, barely alive, were finally reached by a helicopter from the rescue team. Surviving this plane crash was considered a miracle. Carl and Costa's decision to seek help was pivotal in their survival. All involved survived this ordeal, but tragically, 2 years later, the pilot lost his life in another plane crash.